Welcome back to Farming Simulator 25. I want to show you two of the farms I've been working on, but we're starting on this farm. I'll show you why. So this farm is the light blue farm there. Okay, now when I downloaded the new BallySpring 25, so if I stop moving for a second, I'm just going to set my stopwatch that I've got set. Here we go. So when I started off on Farm Sim 25 BallySpring, I was thinking this was the farm I was going to play. And the reason I was thinking that is that this one has, in my opinion, by far the best milking shed. I'll show you why I love the milking shed here so much. It's got these automatic scrapers. It's got 3 of those in this room. Plus it's also got, through here, if I can open this gate, and I can't because I didn't buy it in the end. It's got, which means I probably can't even go through the doorway now because I can't jump over that gate. It's got that milking parlour that I showed you in the last video anyway, where you can get the cows come in. But the problem with this particular farm is the yards are very, very wide open, like you can see here, very wide open, and I like a nice tight yard. So I was thinking, well, I could kind of narrow this yard up by putting like verges of grass along the sides here to make the sort of yard bit in between the two verges of grass narrower. And I could even put, say, some old IBC containers and maybe an old rusted combine or something in the grass, so it's not just a visual thing but it's actually physically narrow where you can walk and things. But the whole farmyard's just huge, and I found another farmyard that I preferred, so we're going to go and jump here. If I can jump into my Land Rover. No, I can't because I left it locked, so we'll have to do it this way instead. Where are we? Down. Here we go. Visit. Okay, so here we are on the farm that I chose to do. Now this farm, if you're on BallySpring, the normal BallySpring you've downloaded, you will not be able to find this farm anywhere. Okay, this farm is built on the little east part of the road there, coming down from the town. So we'll go for a quick run up there so you can see. You probably recognise the corner now, and this road here goes up a wee bit further, and at the top of that hill there is the town. So you're coming down this way towards Fury's farm, you go around this east bend, and here's my farm coming off the east bend. Now I'd love to tell you that I built this farm myself, but I didn't. It's built by a Spanish girl called Kimera. Her real name's Kim. I've gone to look at her website, and she's an artist by trade, and her art's not really my style. She's a really, really great artist. It's just not the style of art that I like. But anyway, she's done a number of farms in the past, and she's done a couple of farms on this BallySpring one. Both here, she's done a dairy version and a meat version of the same farm, and this is the dairy version. And so this is actually all her work that you're seeing here. So that's the farmhouse there. Okay, and as I said, this is a very, very small, like, contracting yard on the normal map when you download the map. So she's completely redone this whole yard. Now the downside of this farm is, on top of the 33 odd mods that you need to download to play BallySpring anyway, this adds another 8 or so on that you have to download as well. So we're now up to about 44 45 mods that you need to have in your mod folder just to have this farm on this map. So it's pretty mod heavy. Now it does have a really cool looking milking parlour here, so you can go through here and you can go down. She's deliberately made it so the farm looks a bit raggedy and old. So there's the milk tank that gets filled up, and she's got a milk parlour here which does work, although it works slightly differently from how that other milk parlour works. So if I go, is it here I want? I think I remember. Yep, so that turns it on, and then you can clip on these bits here and it makes the cows appear. So, okay, and so in a minute we'll be able to clip on the next two. So this milk parlour doesn't take as long to fill up as that other one does on the light blue farm. But you still get the enjoyment of milking all the cows, but it's not going to take it quite as long to fill them all up and do them all. Now, I won't hook up all the cows right now. I'll leave it here because I want to show you more of this little farm here that Kimera designed. So if we go out here again and over here, so there's a few bits of this farm I may change over time. As you know, my farm's always living, breathing things where I change things I don't like. So there's a grain silo here. I might take that out because, as you know, I don't really do a lot of grain farming. So the little that I do, I can probably just sell the grain straight from the field to the shop without siloing it. So that's the milk parlour there, and you pick up the milk from here. This is the only cow paddock on this farm when it's created, but it's got these tracks that she's put in going up this hill. There's one up here and one on the other side of the field here as well. That's a neighbour working that field there. And I own this field here, and I'm going to turn this one into a cow field. So I've already planted it in grass, ready to go. So that's going to be another cow field. I'm thinking, if we go in here for a second, so that's field 187, I think it is. I'm thinking I might even split that into two and turn it into two cow fields there. And then I own this field and this field, which I'll probably have as plain fields for mowing, to get silage bales and to get hay bales from. So I'll have that field we've just come from, which will have two, which will be turned into two cow fields. I've got a cow field here, got the milking shed over here, and then back down through here. So it's a very, very small farm here, almost a farmlet. So basically, to farm this one, the way I'll be doing it is it'll be like how I've done a Harley farm on FS22, where I'll have to do a lot of contract work and things to make money, because I'm not going to make a lot of money just from the farm here. And this is one of those two grass fields that's going to be for mowing, and then the other one's just through that hedge there. So I'm definitely thinking this is the farm I'm going to farm. And if you want a copy of Kimera's map here, if you go to the Farmer Sim, what's it called? I can't think of the name of the app I'm thinking of now. Hang on, give me half a second and I'll tell you. Yeah, what's that app there called? I just don't remember. Discord. That's what I'm thinking. So if you go to the Farm Sim Discord, you too can download this farm here, and it tells you the mods you need to download to have this one. And as I said, you can download a dairy version of it or a meat version of it, and I've downloaded the dairy version. So this is the dairy version. Okay, so that's the farm I'm going to be playing on this. However, there is a slight problem with this, because this map, and then you add this farm onto it and things, it's so mod heavy. So I'm up to about 70 mods already, and I've got, the only vehicles I've got downloaded so far is the Land Rover mod and a couple of Fiat Tractor mods. So I've got basically no equipment downloaded yet, and I'm already up to about 70 mods. So I can see I'm easily going to get up to 100 mods on this farm. And I've got to be honest, my computer's struggling a wee bit with this farm. So I'm getting the occasional crash. I'm either going to have to turn on the autosave. Now I don't like to turn on autosave, because every time it actually saves, it pauses the game for a second, which if you're trying to record at the time is not a good thing. Or I'm just going to have to accept that sometimes my game's going to crash, and whatever stuff I've done since my last save I'm going to lose. Okay, so that's the downside of this farm, is that, I mean, it's really, really brilliant. You can see the detail that Kimera's put in here. It's absolutely brilliant, and this is the one I've decided I'm going to farm on BallySpring. But it has got that one problem, which isn't really a problem with the farm, it's a problem with my computer. It was built for me a decade ago. It's, in fact, probably over a decade ago. It's just not the latest and greatest, and it's struggling with this farm. So let's talk about the solution to that now. If I quit here and take you and show you the solution. Yeah. You can see the way it's struggling a wee bit with everything, so it's going running quite slowly and things. Okay, I'll quit there. Now, sorry, I don't know how to edit these bits out of the video, so you're just going to have to put up with me doing these bits to get onto the other map I want to show you. Because of course you might remember that there were not one but two maps that I was really enjoying for FS25. So now I've just got to... Oh, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Get rid of all of those. Delete. Cool. Then go down here and grab my Cornwall mods. So this is the way I keep my mod numbers down, is by having the mods for each farm in a separate folder. And when I want to change what map I'm playing, I go and download the mods for that folder. And I did discuss that on a much earlier video, and I'm keeping with that with FS25. So now let's go into the Cornwall map, which, although it's not as well detailed as BallySpring, I've got a farm that I'm beginning to enjoy even more than my BallySpring farm there. Obviously that BallySpring one is a long way from finished yet, and I will finish it off and I will do some videos on it and play it, but as I said, it has got the one problem in that it does crash from time to time. Whereas my Cornwall one, because it's not so mod heavy, there's only 36 mods there at the moment, so I don't have the same issues with the Cornwall one. Okay, so let's load this up again. And while I'm loading this, can I also just say, I don't think he ever watches my farming videos, and it's fine if he doesn't, but Luke, I want to say congratulations to you and Kylie. Excellent stuff, really excellent stuff. So I'm just waiting for this map to load now. Come on, what's happening with it? It is loading, it's just taking minutes. Here we go, and that was my steering wheel turning itself off, so turn that back on. So yes, apologies once again that you've got to watch me do all this bit, because I'm not skilled enough to know how to edit a video, to take stuff out like that as I'm changing between things, so unfortunately you just need to live with it, I'm sorry. But now we're going on to the Cornwall map, and I'm going to start by showing you a farm that's not mine on that one as well, but there's logic to my madness, there really is. Yep, so now that one's loading up, and this one will load up a bit quicker than BallySpring does, because there's not as many mods on it, and it's not as graphically as taxing as the BallySpring is. It does still take a wee while to load this one, and part of the reason for that is I don't have a I don't remember what it's called. There's a special kind of hard drive memory you can fit in your computer. A solid state disk drive, that's what I'm thinking of. Solid state disk. I don't have a solid state disk in mine. That would be the next modification that it probably needs, so that it loads things quicker. But to be perfectly honest, I don't mind that it takes a bit of time to load the things. It just gives me time to stop and think about what I want to do next. Okay, now when this finishes loading in a moment, and again, the farm that I'm building here and I'm farming on isn't finished yet, it's got more to go. I just wanted to show you an in progress thing so you could see where I'm farming on both maps and what I was thinking of doing on both maps. Now, I'm actually going to show you 3 farms on this map. None of them are completely new creations, they're all actually on the map. Don't know why it's got that thing in the corner, it doesn't normally have that. Oh, come on. Come on. Why is it not loading? Oh. Is it entities I need? there we go. Okay, so now let's jump. If I bring up the map again, I'm going to jump first of all to the which farm did I want to jump to? Here. So this farm here was the one that I originally decided I was going to farm on. Okay, and the reason that I was going to farm on this one, and I'll show you, is again the same reason I was going to farm on the light blue one on BallySpring. This one easily has the best milking shed of any of the farms on this map. So the milking shed here, here's the milking shed. I really love the way that it looks kind of old and a bit tattered, like it's a working farm. So it's a very used milking shed. This one you can't actually get the cows coming in and line up for it, sort of thing, but it's a really nice looking milking shed. It kind of looks very old, and it's got the room with the milking tank there and things. Okay, but the problem with this farm, so I love the milking shed on it, but the actual farm itself, even after I made some changes to it, so one of the things I did is down here I took out these storage tanks here, and I took out the silo pits. Instead what I put in here was turned it all into mud. In fact, I turned it into real mud, and we'll go in a second into what that is. And I put a stockyard in here with a ramp for the cows to go down and be sorted in the yard, sort of thing. So I changed all that to a stockyard. And then if we go up this way, past the house again, up to this track here, okay, so here I left the workshop there on the right, so I like that. Took the grain silo out from here, and I hadn't decided whether to leave these sheds here or whether to take them out and put in a calf barn there. I was still undecided about that. But further up the track here, the three paddocks here, so this one, and the one across here, I turned all of those into cow paddocks. And I put about 5 hours work into this farm here, and then decided that despite all the work I'd done, I still didn't actually like the layout of the farm very much. So there were 2 or maybe 3, depending on how you count them, farms on this map that I really like the layout of. So one was the very first farm we went and looked at on my video introducing you to this map. So go here and visit. So this is the first one that I really like the layout of. The problem with this farm, so one of the things I really love about it is it had a whole lot of equipment over in the bushes here and things, but the only thing wrong with this one was that it was newer looking equipment, but I could fix that quite easily. Also, this farm you can't really turn it into a cow farm. So that barn that we went and looked at a moment ago, if I go into buy mode here for an example and go down to the cows, you can buy that barn. It's placeable, but it's just so big, this barn, as you can see, and it needs to be very flat ground it's put on. So I couldn't find anywhere in or around this farm I could place this. In fact, I couldn't find anywhere on the map that this barn could be successfully placed in. It's just too big and the ground's too hilly. So you either have to flatten out a whole lot of ground, or you've got to go without that barn, unless you're going with that farm where the barn's already been put in. So now we'll jump to where I am actually farming, and I'll show you around a wee bit. So this farm here, I've actually joined 2 farms together to make this one. So we'll go back to the map in half a second and I'll show you what I mean. We can head down there. So on the map, if I zoom in, there's 2 farms here. On the left hand side of the road here, there's this big farm here. On the right hand side of the road, there's a smaller farm here. And I've bought both. I'm treating them as one farm with a yard that crosses the road. So I've got a yard on both sides of it. Now this farm I'm absolutely loving. So I'm going to show you a wee bit around. So I've got calf pens there. And as I said, not everything's finished on this farm yet. Okay, I'm still working on it. This one wasn't really designed as a dairy farm. It was more designed as a beef farm. but I'm treating it as a dairy farm. So I haven't been able to replace that big cow shed, the big milking shed they really like, because it's just too big. But I have got an area here where you got stalls for the cows to go into, and you can milk them there. So that's okay. I'm treating that as my milking shed there. Okay. Now if we come up here for a second, so we'll jump into one of my tractors, and I'll take you for a bit of a drive, show you about the real mud mod. Okay. Here we go. Oh, so first of all, I'll just tell you about the real mud mod first. Okay. So if you download this mod, so we go in here, and if we go to this section here and go across to painting, there's a couple of different versions of dirt, okay? And all they do is they like different colours of dirt. If you don't have the real mud mod downloaded, then all these are doing is showing different visuals of what dirt looks like. If you do have the real mud mod downloaded, when you go to this one here, it's just painting it on the ground just like normal. But when you use this one here, and anywhere you put this one, it turns into real mud. I'm going to demonstrate right now what real mud is. My advice to anyone who tries this mod is don't overdo it. Do it in very small patches where you want it. Now as we come off the concrete here, you're going to see a perfect example of what it is and how it works. So as I drive off here, you can see how the tractor is actually sinking into the mud there. Okay, so anywhere you use the animal mud only, as I said, so if you don't want it to sink in, you use that mud there. If you do want to sink in, you use that mud there. And anywhere they've already done that mud on the base game before you download the mod will not work like this, so it will still just look different. But here you can see how this tractor's dug into the ground, and I've got to. It's not quite perfect, the graphics, as it comes out of the real mud, but so what I've done is I've added a cow paddock in down here. Okay, so that cow paddock's all go. I haven't fed those cows yet, and so that's why I've left the gates open this paddock. Over here there is this the slurry pit, so you can drive down here with an agitator to agitate all the slurry pit, or you can also if you've got the tanker and the pumps and hoses mod, you can bring a tanker trailer down here and use the pumps and hoses mod to load up the slurry. I am going to have to keep that slurry pit, you know, fairly emptied. Now visually I don't think there's any difference because it always seems to have the same level in it, even if it's empty. But as you can see, this pit is just up a bank from my cow paddock there. So if I let it overflow over those bushes, which as I said I don't think it actually will overflow in the farm because I don't think the level of the visual slurry there changes, but it would start pouring down the banks there onto my cow paddock. I don't want that, so I am going to be keeping an eye on my slurry levels there. Now again, if I go down this track here this time, and at the bottom of this hill where it's lower ground, I've again used some of that real mud to put down here, so the tractor, you can see, is sinking into the mud down here where the ground's lower. Okay, and again, I haven't overdone it. I don't want to do the whole track in that real mud. So you go across the little bridge here, and this paddock here, I think I'm going to be turning into my paddock for mowing and things. Okay, now let's head back across that bridge once again. Oops, I shouldn't have U-turned on the bridge. Whoa, come on. Okay, we're in a spot of trouble now, aren't we? Oh, come on. Can I get out of there or not? Completely stuck on that bridge. I think yeah, that wheel's. Sorry, that's not what I planned to do for this video. Ah, there we go, we're back on. Okay, let's turn around, not on the bridge, and head back over the bridge so I can show you. Now, the reason I put real mud right there, at the bottom, just here, on the other side of this bridge, is because coming back up here with trailers from that field and things, the tractors are going to really struggle at the bottom of this hill here when they hit this mud, and that's what I'm wanting to achieve by using that real mud mod. So I don't want it all over the farm everywhere, but I want to put in set spots where the tractors are going to really struggle if they're hauling a huge heavy load on the back or something. So if we come up here, and we'll head this way this time, so you can see some more of my farm. So over here, there is also a pump, so if you're not using the pumps and hoses mod, there's no, it's not over there, so it's on the other side of this cow shed here. So I'm still doing my way around the farm and things, but on the other side over here, oh, come on, let's try and drive in a straight line, shall we? Over here, there is a pump, so you can also get slurry from there, from that same slurry pit that we looked at from the other side before. Okay, now, if we go back this way, now because I've joined two farms together to make my one farm here, it means technically that I've got two farmhouses. One is up on that hill there, you can see that brownstone farmhouse there. Then as we cross here, so this farm here has all the animal stuff on it. The other farm, we have to cross the road here to get to it. This has a lot of storage sheds. So this farm here is quite tiny. All it seems to have is storage sheds pretty much. But by joining the two together, because the other one doesn't have a lot of storage space, it makes for a brilliant farm. So I've got all the storage sheds on this side of the road, and all the animal pens and things on the other side of the road. And that there, that grey building behind us, that's the other farmhouse, so I end up owning both farmyards I've added together. Now, if we head down this track here, oh, sorry, I've got to miss that gate there, it's open. But yeah, if I head down this track here, I'm going to put another cow paddock, or maybe a couple of cow paddocks, down here at the bottom here. And again, because this is down by a creek, so it's very low lying land, I've used the mud mod at the bottom of this track as well, just to you can see it there, the track is sinking in things. And so as I said, I'm using that real mud mod sparingly, and I'm only using it on low ground. I'm just using it where I want the track to struggle a wee bit and sink in. So down here I own this paddock, and this is going to be another cow paddock. It's not yet, hence why you can't see any cows. And I'm not actually sure with this paddock, if we zoom in here, so you can see there's a creek running along there, and the paddock's basically a rectangle but with a creek coming in. So I'm not sure whether I might turn this into two paddocks and make them both cow paddocks. I just haven't decided yet. There's a wee bit of mist over there. It's funny because with the FS25, of course, Fury Machine Gaming was never a fan of that mist. I love the look of it, and I don't know, perhaps they've toned it down since the game released, because I'm only playing FS25 now really for the first time, and I'm loving the look of all that mist and stuff, but it does seem to be very toned down, so I don't know whether that's toned down in the maps or whether it's they've actually toned it down altogether in the whole game. So it's back up here at the moment. So yes, that's where my other cow paddocks are going to be, on this side. So I'll have cow paddocks on both sides of the road. Oh, now one of the other interesting things I should tell you about this map too. When I did a little bit of a map tour of this on my last video, I pointed out that there is traffic in the game, but there's not that much of it, which I really loved and appreciated. I also said that the traffic doesn't go down any of the really narrow lanes, and I actually got it wrong. The traffic does go down some of the really narrow lanes, so it comes down this one, for example. Now, because the traffic does go down some of those very narrow lanes, what you have to do, they've got no passing lanes on this map, whereas on BallySpring, for example, if you park on the road or going too slowly down the road, a car will pull out and pass you. On this map it won't, it will just back up behind you and wait for you, like it does on the old FS22 maps and things. Okay, now they've deliberately not put the passing into this map, and the reason why, so I'll just shut my tractor off there. The reason why is because these lanes are so narrow that when you're driving, say, a Land Rover or just a tractor on its own, you can kind of push right over into the hedges or whatever of the side of the road. Most don't have hedges, but just here there's a brick wall to surround my. This is the driveway up here to my farmhouse, sort of thing. But so yeah, you can squeeze into the bush a bit or the hedge a bit to get past if there's a car coming the other way. But if you would say, for example, driving a combine harvester with a header trailer on the back, heading down to a field you're going to harvest, and you saw a car coming the other way down one of these narrow lanes, there's absolutely no way to get past it. So the way this map's been designed is it's very, very important that you have some extra farm vehicles, like for example my little Land Rover over here. If I come up to the farmhouse and up here, so I've got the Land Rover there. So what you'd have to do in order to ensure you don't meet a car coming the other way when you're trying to manoeuvre a big piece of equipment like a combine harvester with a header trailer, is you take your Land Rover or your Chevy truck or whatever it is you're using, and you go up to just the other side of the paddock you're heading to, and you actually block off the road with your vehicle, so and the traffic will just build up behind your vehicle. And my understanding is that's what farmers will do in real life when they've got to navigate a very thin country lane with a big piece of equipment like a combine harvester, is they'll go and block off the road with the Land Rover while the combine harvester's going down the road, just because it's hard enough to navigate those narrow roads as it is with bigger equipment. You certainly don't want to be trying to do that and avoid traffic at the same time. As I said, this map here, the traffic is quite quiet. Here comes some now, and I actually really like that, the fact that it's quiet, because in too many Farming Simulator maps I think the traffic's too heavy. Given we're talking about country roads and things, you get some traffic, but you wouldn't get too much. So I think they've done it well with this map, working out how much traffic there should be. But yeah, you will have to, if you're going to be using bigger equipment, big tractors with a big plough on the back or a big combine harvester, make sure you've got something like the Land Rover, for example. You can race ahead and block off the road, so that then when you're coming down with the combine harvester, you don't have to navigate other traffic as well as the narrow lanes. So hope you enjoyed seeing my farm, and yeah, I really, really love this yard here because it's on so many different levels. It's just not flat and things, and by having the two farmyards joined together to make one farm, it means I've got a farmyard that actually crosses the road, and I quite like that as well. And love that real mud mod that I've downloaded and I'm using, but do use that sparingly. So I will go back to modding some more of my farm, and I will catch up with you all again later on. Thank you very much for joining in. Bye.